it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching me, welcome. I post budget videos every single week here on my channel, as well as other lifestyle videos, grocery hauls, all things kind of homemaker life. So if that is the type of channel that you enjoy watching, I would love it if you would click the subscribe button so that you can come back for all my other videos. But for today's video, we are going to be focusing on budgeting. So I have in front of me my big size Happy Planner, and I use this planner for budgeting. I keep my Budget by Paycheck Workbook in this planner, and this is how I go about budgeting my money every single week. So let me go ahead and open this up and get to the week we're working on, and we will go over my budget for the week. Alright, so we are focusing on the third week in the month of June, paycheck number 3. And this is the paycheck that he received on June 16th, 2020. So my husband gets paid on Tuesdays. So we are budgeting from Tuesday, June 16th until Monday, June 22nd. I am going to cover all of our expenses for that week as well as our bills. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm going to zoom you guys in and we'll start talking about bills. So under my bills category, I put, obviously, our bills, but I also put any expenses that we are going to be taken care of with our debit card or through our bank account. So it's not just bills, it's essentially anything that's being paid in that manner, anything that's not cash. So the first thing we're going to talk about is groceries. So I have a family of 4. I have my husband, myself, and our 2 children who are both boys, 17 and 12. So I know that kind of plays into the grocery budget. I thought I would mention it just in case there's anyone new here. And I'm going to budget $150 for the week for groceries. That's typically what I budget. Sometimes we spend a little bit less, sometimes we spend a little bit more, but with growing boys who eat a lot, who are always home, right now with summer vacation and the pandemic going on, that's what we're spending approximately per week. And I will come back at the end of the week and do a budget results video where I talk about this actual column as well. So like I said in the intro, if you are interested in that sort of thing, make sure that you subscribe. So that's groceries. Next I have my spending money. So for a while there, I was taking my spending money in cash, and then the pandemic happened and we weren't really going anywhere, so I wasn't taking spending money at all. And then I, for a while, was taking spending money, but I was leaving it in the bank rather than taking it out in cash. So I've been flip-flopping a lot in the way that I do my budget. This week I decided to go ahead and budget spending money for myself, but leave it in the bank, because most of my purchases lately have been online. I've been struggling a little bit with, should I keep everything in the bank? Should I pull everything in cash? I like the idea of having cash. I like that it's tangible. I like that I can kind of count it out and see exactly how much I have without doing a lot of math, but it just doesn't make sense to pull money out in cash just to turn around and deposit it again to cover any online purchases. So we're going to try things this way this week. You can do that with your budget. You can change things up, you can switch things around, you can change your mind. So this week my spending money is going to stay in the bank, and any spending that I do for personal money will be with my debit card. Anyway, long story short, I budgeted $40 for myself for spending money. For household, that's a budget of $30. I always budget $30. This $30 a week covers our subscribe and save purchases. We have a lot of our household items set up through Amazon just to arrive automatically every month. Our toilet paper, our paper towels, Actually, our paper towels haven't been coming lately, so I've been having to buy those at Walmart. You know, laundry detergent, that sort of thing, so that $30 covers that. Next we have miscellaneous. So this miscellaneous money that I'm going to budget is just for anything outside of everything that's been budgeted. So if something comes up that I don't plan for, that's where this miscellaneous money comes in. And this is another one where I've taken this out in cash previously, or I've taken some cash and left some in the bank. This week we're going to just leave it all in the bank and try just using the debit card for our miscellaneous spending. So for miscellaneous, I've budgeted $50. Next, we're kind of moving into the bills. So I have an Amazon credit card that has a minimum payment due. My husband and I are on a debt-free journey. We are trying to pay off our consumer debt. So the way that we do things is by using the debt snowball. So we pay all of our minimum payments, and then we make extra payments to the card that has the lowest balance. So this $110 for Amazon is the minimum payment. That's one of the cards in our list of cards to pay off. Next is State Farm, which is also a credit card, and the minimum payment for that is $25. And then we have insurance. So my husband has a motorcycle that he has full coverage insurance on, and I've budgeted $40 for that. Sorry if you guys can hear my cats in the background. They are playing and wrestling like boys do, you know. So that's that noise. Like I was saying, full coverage insurance on my husband's motorcycle. It's approximately $40 a month. Whenever I am doing my budget, I always tend to round up the amount that I think I'm going to need for these bills. And then when I'm estimating my income, which I don't share here on my channel, I always estimate that low. My husband works and is paid based on commission, so his paychecks fluctuate quite a bit. So that's the way that I make sure that we are covered with all of our expenses. And then I also roll over money week to week. Anything that we have left after all of our bills and everything are paid and our expenses are taken care of, I roll that money over to the next week to make sure that we are covered 100%. So yeah, that's my husband's motorcycle insurance. And then we have car insurance. Our motorcycle and our other vehicles are on separate, are insured by different companies, just because we were able to get a better rate for the motorcycle through one company, and then all of our vehicles and things was a better rate at a different company. Hopefully that makes sense. I feel like I just made that way more complicated than it needed to be. So for our car insurance, this is covering our truck that we own, our F-250 Super Duty, my son's little Saturn Ion, as well as our camper is insured under this line item, and that is $300 for the month. We live in Michigan. Our insurance is crazy high. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my calculator, and we're going to add up these totals and get a total for our bills budget. This is very dark. Let's see if I can brighten it up a little bit so you guys might be able to see. Alright, so $150 for groceries, $40 plus $30 plus $50 plus $110 plus $25 plus $40 plus $300. So that's $745 for our bill category. Next, we're going to be talking about cash envelopes. So under the cash envelopes category, this is everything that I'm going to be pulling out in cash and spending throughout the week. First up is my husband's spending money. My husband really likes to do his spending money in cash because he likes to be able to just spend to his heart's content, and then when it's gone, he's done spending. He doesn't like to try to sit and do math and figure out exactly how much money he has left. So I pull out his money in cash. That works out really well for us. So for his spending money for the week, I've budgeted $40. Next we have eating out. That's something else I've decided to pull in cash just to make it a little bit easier. We didn't do eating out money for a really long time during the pandemic. But in the last month or so, we've been back to eating out and really enjoying it. That's kind of our family fun. It's basically what we do together as a family. We'll do takeout and movie night or whatever. So it's really important to me that we have eating out money. And for that, I budgeted $50. And then for gas money this week, I decided to take that out in cash, which is not usually something that I do. I'm typically a pay at the pump kind of gal. It's just more convenient that way. But the way that I do gas is I budget $50 for the week, but then if we don't spend this full $50, if we don't need it to fill our tank, I take whatever's left and I put it into savings for a time in the future when we might need to spend extra money on gas, whether it be going on a long road trip or we just have a lot more errands or whatever. We do drive a gas guzzling truck, so that's the way that I do things. And it's been a pain to budget gas under the bills category and use my debit card, but then whatever's left, I then have to go and pull out of the bank anyway to put into our envelope. So this week we're trying it out in cash. That way I can put it in my envelope, in my wallet, and pump the gas throughout the week, and then whatever's left over I can stick in my envelope. Again, feeling I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be, but that's what we're trying this week. So gas is under the envelopes category this week. So I don't even need my calculator to know that 50 and 50 and 40 is $140. So we'll write that in for our envelope total. And then we will move on to sinking funds. So if you're not familiar with sinking funds, they're essentially little mini savings accounts for expenses that you know are coming, but they aren't like monthly expenses. They're irregular, they don't happen every single month, but you know they're coming. So in my case, the sinking funds that I am saving for this week are our campground, car tags and maintenance, Christmas, hunting, and home maintenance. So these are all things that we know that we're going to need money for at some point, whether they have an actual due date or just an arbitrary time sometime in the future. We're going to need money for these things. And so rather than waiting for these things to come up and then having to work them into our budget, especially some of these larger things, we just save a little bit of money throughout the year, a little bit at a time, and then when those things come up, we have the money set aside for them. So if you're not doing sinking funds, I highly recommend that you do, because this has been the main thing that has allowed me to save more money, work on our debt snowball, and not come up short. So I highly recommend that you do sinking funds. So, like I said, we're going to do our campground. We have a camper that sits on an annual campsite. We pay the annual fee once a year. That's coming up in October, so we know that we are going to have a large chunk of money. Rather than worrying about that in October, we've been saving a little bit throughout the year. So we're saving $50 this week. Car tags and maintenance. So once a year you have to renew your car tags. So that's something that happens every year. There's no excuse to not be prepared for it. So we combine our car tags with our car maintenance fund. It's just one big fund. So you may not know when your car is going to break down, but you know that it's a possibility, right? So having money set aside for that is a good thing. So we are saving $25 in that fund this week. Christmas, that's another big one. We used to go into debt every year at Christmas time, and there's no excuse for that. Christmas is December 25th every year. So, and this is what I told myself. I'm not lecturing you guys. I'm lecturing me. Christmas comes every year. I know it's coming. There's no excuse not to be prepared for it. So $25 is going to get us set aside this week for that. Hunting is another one of those expenses for my family. My husband is a hunter. He has hunting licenses he has to buy every year and other supplies and things. So we're saving $25 this week for that. And then home maintenance is another one of those things. Inevitably, something around the home is going to break, need to be replaced. Maybe we want to paint, whatever it is. A little bit of money set aside in that category as well. So $25 for that. And the grand total for my sinking funds for the week is $150. Next up is our debt snowball. So like I said in the beginning of this video, we are actively trying to pay off debt. We're not in a super big hurry to do it, obviously. We could cut our budget down to bare bones and pay off our debt much quicker. But we want to live our lives and enjoy life while also paying down our debt. So that's how we choose to do it. Dave Ramsey would be ashamed of me, I'm sure, but it's been working out for us. So the amount for my debt snowball is $128 for the week. I have been actively paying off a Capital One card, but actually we've decided to pause our payment on that card. We just, in the last couple of weeks, used our Lowe's credit card to buy my husband a new smoker for Father's Day. I was going to pull out money from savings to cover that, but instead I decided just to pause the debt snowball on the Capital One card and send the next couple of weeks of snowball payments to the Lowe's card and just get that paid off really quick, and then we'll immediately shift gears and go back to paying off the Capital One card. Just how I decided to do it. Personal finance is personal. You can do whatever works for you and your budget. That's what I've decided. So the snowball money will actually be going to our Lowe's card this week. But that's $128. And lastly, I have Savopoly. This is just extra savings. It's a fun printable that I found on mothermeandI.com, and I'll actually go ahead and flip to it and show you guys what it looks like really quickly. This is what Savopoly looks like. So you roll a dice, you go around the board, and the property that you land on correlates with a number, and that's how much you save for the week. If you guys would like to see exactly how I do this, how I roll, and my process, I filmed it, and it's part of my June budget setup video, where I also talk about the paper that I use to do my printables. I talk about the punch that I use to punch everything to put it into my Happy Planner. I give you a whole rundown on how I get my budget set up for the month. So definitely check out that video if you're interested in Savopoly or any of those other things. I have this printable linked down below if you're interested. I think it was like $3, and I just kind of found it randomly when I was looking at savings challenges. And this just makes it fun. It's a fun way to save money without just arbitrarily putting aside $20 a week or whatever. Makes it more interesting. So for Savopoly, I am going to be saving $28 this week. That's what I landed on for the week. So typically this is the point in the video when I would go through the cash envelope breakdown, pull out cash, stuff my envelopes. However, I actually have not at this point been to the bank to get cash. Usually when I film this video, I've already been to the bank, I'm already set up and ready. But today's Friday, this video is supposed to go up on Friday, and I just haven't had a time to get to the bank. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be a separate video from the cash envelope stuffing, and I will try to get that uploaded for you guys over the weekend. It's not typically the way that I like to do things, but it was either that or I postponed this video entirely and I didn't want to do that. So it's just going to be in 2 parts this week. You guys will have to let me know what you think about that. If everybody really likes it that way, maybe I'll do that moving forward. And if not, obviously, next week we'll go back to business as usual. But just this week has been crazy and I haven't had time to get the cash. So I'm going to go ahead and end that here. That is my week 3 budget for June. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Like I said at the start, if you haven't already subscribed, I would love it if you would do that. and be on the lookout for the cash envelope stuffing video next here on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you then.